Welcome everyone. There's a GTL match about to start. AV versus TLOEG. Surely we can expect some really entertaining stuff. We're gonna start on Muravenka. Teams are picking tanks already. Let's see how it's gonna go. And they select the E3 again. The team on the right, is it the south or the north spawn?
South spawn, I do believe.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting. 8 degrees gun depression. They could use that E3 in G2. That could be really effective.
Left is north.
AV with a Type 5. AV's going with some medium stuff. 140 E50M. No bad chat yet. I'm thinking that TLOEG, you're gonna send that bad chat to spot down the middle. Down the 7 line. What do you guys think? Do you guys think we're gonna have some medium action down the magical forest?
I think we're going to see more action towards the hills.
I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with that Type 5, being a pretty easy pin for heat rounds and most premium rounds coming from tanks at tier 10. So we'll just have to see where that goes.
Yeah, but I think we all know that the machine gun port on the top of the E5 can be really throw though, right? Sometimes you, even if you spam heat or just premium round APCR, it's just bouncing and bouncing. Sometimes it's spinning every single time. Let's see if one of the team are going to take the control down the 7-8 line.
I think AV's hoping to catch the singular bat chat out here, but he's not willing to commit quite yet.
Looks like you got an E50M spotted. Catch a glimpse of it.
And now he knows he should be getting out of there about right now, yeah. I don't think it was a bad move putting the 5A there, because that is such a versatile, speedy heavy that it can get around and it could throw the match in forest.
Yep.
So
that thing can relocate pretty easily, so it's not a bad choice. I agree. Okay, so we have TLOEG with an IS-7 and E4 on the camping position in the middle, watching down the magical forest. We don't see that often. This might actually not be a bad play.
They do have their side covered from the hills, so I don't think they will have to worry about any. Oh well, now patches a little bit out in the open, but the E4 is pretty protected from the side, which means I don't think they'll have to worry about a counter shot coming in. Yes, there's nothing on the hill.
And considering the bad shot and the E4, I don't think the 140 and the E50M are going to be too aggressive trying to push.
No,
might just keep their attention.
The E50M pay. I believe he got shot by the E4 once, and I think a bat shot hit him as well. Maybe the IS-7. I don't remember.
We have Bones here in a Supercon in G1, doing some good work, preventing the heavies from pushing down the 2 line.
A little bit of action coming in on the 2 line. The Conquerors and IS-7, I think the E100 on the TLOEG side are seeing a little bit of action right now.
There goes Gunslinger and the IS-7, yep, pushing down the middle.
Well, he needs to start angling that turret a little bit so they can't go through it.
in the Super Conk. Now the G1
Good
is
shot on
really
the
doing
E4.
some good
The
work
E4
right
is
now.
getting torn up right now. I think the E4 may go down with one more good shot. No, he's backing down. Yeah, here comes the E3 up to the backside. About to make a Super Conqueror pay, I'm sure.
The E3 already planted a good shot into the IS-7 side.
The E3's in a pretty good
TLI-7 and
position
E100
here.
could really do a little push now on the Type 5.
TA does have backup from the side. If
The E4 did go down
Yep.
for AV.
That's one of their heaviest hitters. Now they have no reason to stop from pushing around that corner.
I think
We got
what
Amy in the
AV
Super
should have done
Conk
was
coming to help the E3.
where that E4 was, they should have had a Super Conqueror or both of their Super Conquerors back there.
Yes.
And it'd have been more effective than that single E4.
The E4 should have played a more
both of those
heavy
tanks
role
there.
in this one for sure.
We have Bones in the G1 area right now that could definitely do a push and come help the E100 and the IS-7 to push middle. And looks like this is what he's doing.
I learned a long time ago to put
There
an
it
E4
is.
back there is costly. You want, before the Super Conquerors came out, you wanted Chieftains back there.
Oh yeah. Anything with a good turret, heavy DPM, it would be amazing back there. Especially with 10 degrees of gun depression compared to the E4. That's a substantial difference whenever it comes to hill playing.
TL is going ham right now.
Yep, there it is. We may see a cap out. If they're smart, they will. There it is. I think they're going to finish it out safe.
Yeah, they're going to try and finish it
No.
out safe. They're going to keep the 3 tanks there. And they're going to chase the mediums out in the forest.
Bloody
Which
is,
could be
Amy,
costly
they
for
swapped
them,
out.
but if they don't get one of their mediums like that E50M undetected and move them back up and around real quick, he needs to stop the cap.
Oh, looks like TL is going to go for a safe victory, just cap. This is not a bad thing to do.
TLOEG definitely took advantage of having that north side with a little bit more heavy up there. The E4 going down so early really changed the match, allowing them to kind of push up and bleed the tanks a little bit more, especially the ones that committed on cap. So,
Yep.
very good game coming out of TLOEG.
Good match.
AVs, they didn't go down without any points though. They're going to be walking away with some points for taking out a couple of their tanks. So they're not walking away empty-handed.
That's unfortunate that their E4 really got caught trying to crest the ridge. E3 on TL did a really good job. I knew that having an E3 would be entertaining.
Oh yeah, did a great
This is
job
not
of
a
turning
thing
those
that we
heads
see
and not
too
taking the
often.
damage.
Yep, exactly. And who knew that you will literally
is,
push between the hills and the town in the middle? That was actually very
Yeah.
clever to do that. That was risky but clever at the same time. Well done.
Risky, but I believe they had got enough information to where they could really see that there was nothing that could get shots on them if they did such a risky move, and it really did pay off because then they could close in on the cap and really make them pay for that.
Yep. Let's go with the next round. Do you guys think we're going to see the exact same lineups, or there's going to be some changes? I don't
I
think the
think we'll see.
E50M and the 140 was really the best choice for this map.
I think we'll see AV kind of play more hill aggressive this time, like they did last time. They're probably will only send 1 or 2 mediums instead of 3 down to the bottom because it made them separate too much. So I think they're going to try and compensate for that.
Sending the 5A down the 8 line was not a bad choice, but at the same time, he could have been so much more effective pushing the 2-3 line, helping the rest of the heavies, increasing the DPM and the hit points around the cap.
They didn't have a back plan coming in with the flank with the 5A because it is very good at taking out the singular bat chat, but it stayed back and didn't commit enough to where it could get any damage out on it. And then once it realized that, it should have went back around and helped out the north side, but pushed down with the heavies, which really separated the game up north, kind of put them back a little bit.
Yep,
And TLOEG definitely saw that advantage, and they did the best they could, and it ended up paying off.
And TL in the middle, I think it was around G6, having the 5A from AV trying to go around. He would have, you know, get spotted down the middle and get shot through the middle of the town while trying to relocate, losing a ton of hit points, just trying to go back and help the heavies.
Yeah, they did a very good job of keeping them separated, and if they did try to leave, they would have made them.
Overall, that was a very good match. Let's see the second one. Oh, there we go with a Type 5 again. E3 again.
Grim, what'd you think of the match?
What did I think of the match?
Yeah.
Well, I think there should have been a light tank on this map, personally.
Oh no.
And that would have really helped the team who had the light
Coming
tank.
from you? I don't know why, but I'm not surprised.
The light tank experts coming in.
Well, I think they should. Well, if a team had a light tank, then they would have been given superiority in spotting and stuff, you know. But overall, with that E3 that got ignored on the left-hand side for a long time, the I-7 did nothing, gave his side to the E3, and only after he got shot did he move. So the E3 for LOG did a lot of the damage for that game. So
Alright.
That's why I
AV's
think the
game was,
E3 play was
we
kind of
better now.
risky. Because if AV would have sent a tank around the top of E3, that E3 would have get spotted. They had no tank on the top of the hill to spot anything, so basically that E3, he's just been doing everything he wanted to do without getting spotted. That's why that was risky to do that, but at the same time that was extremely clever because he didn't get spotted and all of a sudden he popped in the middle.
exactly. And it almost seemed as if they were autoing. They weren't fanning him very frequently. So
He was in a pretty good spot using that hill to cover his lower plate, which it's very hard to pin an E3 from the front with no lower plate view.
Extremely.
And I'm sure he blocked. I didn't see how much he did, but I'm sure he blocked thousands of damage from that cap.
I would not even be surprised. If
And
it's
taking
not
that fire
like
away
the
from the
best
people on the
armor
corner
frontally
helped.
from the tier 10 TD, it's close. Even the
Yeah,
lower
oh, yeah.
plate is very, very good. And if some people just are not aware about that, you know, the hatch on the top of the E3 is really not a weak point
It's
compared to the
super
E4.
armor, yeah.
Exactly. And some people just don't think about that. They're like, okay, there's the hatch, and they bounce, and they bounce, and you're just gonna keep bouncing. This is not a weak spot.
It has I know at least over 280, 270 millimeters armor on that cupola, and that is at a very sharp angle, which makes it even more difficult to pin. So,
And just think that if the E3 is constantly moving back and forth, left and right,
yes.
It's just making the thing extremely difficult, so I would not even
You
risk
just
it.
might as well auto him.
No. You might as well auto him. Yeah, that's your best luck. So
At this
AV's
point, what you
running a
can do
similar
if you
lineup.
have a way to go around it, you just keep the E3 tracked, and you send a tank to flank him.
Exactly. No light tanks,
Okay, so-
but disappoints again.
It looks like Dragoon has realized that going to the forest would not pay off for him, so he's joining the heavies in the push for the 2-in-1 line.
Here we have Bug in the bad shot, trying to get some spot, playing very defensively. AV with the 140 in the E50M. Kinda pushing aggressively down the 0 line right now.
TLOEG is getting a similar setup around the houses in the middle. Pug is trying to pull them back towards those, which seems like they are willing to do right now.
TL with a very strong defensive position towards the magical forest right now. That
They
could
have
be
quite
dangerous
a few tanks on
though.
that corner, yeah. I'm thinking they may go for a cat push here in a moment.
If AV realize they have the overmatch on that E100, he's gonna go down.
I do like the positioning on the Super Conqueror, and now that TA is coming back into the exact same thing he did last time because they have no one on the hill again, so he can sneak right in there and get ready.
Look at Dragoon right now. Looks like he's trying to
Yep, he's realized
push that ridge
he
out.
is-
E3 got spotted. Good play by Dragoon.
Good
It's like
hit
they
going into Bloody there.
expected the E3 to do the same thing from that side, and he got caught this time.
E4 put in a good number, almost, I think that was a 933 roll into the E100.
Yep, big shell right there.
Big shell. That could turn it a little bit up here.
That shot just basically totally negated the hit points of the E100.
Yellow may take
Look
a
at
hit
that-
if he pushes up a little bit further. Gotta
Look
be
at
careful.
that play by TL. 2 IS-7 aggressively pushing down the B and C line towards those mediums.
They may be getting a little bit too separated here. I think AV might realize once they're detected that they do have the overmatch.
TL has 2 super conks in C1, a really good position right now to help that E100 and prevent
Yep.
the push from AV.
Frog is coming in down the middle to back TA up, staying a little bit further back so he doesn't get detected. It looks like AV is stacking up for a push, maybe.
AV's medium
there
are
it is,
going
committing.
down.
Yep, they are committing into the cap right now. Here comes TA
Oh,
and Frog.
TL is gonna have to
TA
send
blocking another
IS-7
shell.
ASAP.
They have no opposition from the middle, so they can take a good defensive position. They have no idea Frog is around that corner. Here comes Frog. Ooh, a nasty hit in the Dragoon.
That E3 could definitely make the difference right now versus that super conk in the 5A.
Yep, if he can bait them around that corner and take the shells for the E4, it could be a game changer.
The only thing that Frog have to do right now is stay close behind the E3, and as soon as
Amy is
those two
trying to
heavies are
HE
firing,
reset
is
the cap.
popping and take a shot.
Oop, they one has got off base. I don't know if I would have done that. It's a pretty risky move. Alright, back on base. A good reset right there. I think that was an HE reset. Good call.
Yeah. General Blood in the E100 doing some good work right now.
Good call with the HE there. Another great reset on the Type 5 who had most of it, and now it's going to be a crossfire match to the end. They've got him cornered in a spot where they do not want to be.
Patches is back into the fight. Jeff Totes is
The
coming
E3
as well.
and E4 are tearing them up from behind.
The E3 is definitely a surprising choice, but honestly, it's
I think it's
doing some
working
really
out
good
great.
work right now. Yep, yep. All about the armor. It's just
Yo, yeah.
even
This time
with
I'm going to be looking at his
premium
block
rounds,
so I can see
lower plate,
exactly
it's
when
not a
they can do it.
100% chance span, so it's just it's a good pick.
Oh, yeah. Bloody's about to go down here, but Bones has stepped up to stop them from doing that. May go down here, though. There it is. TA needs to take a hit. Nope. Frog's down. They need to try to get that E4 out back there because he is one of the worst for them right now.
I think Pug realized that. Looks like he's trying to do a flank, and then he's gonna push on that
Yep.
E4.
Uh,
The Type 5 Heavy
I
is
think so.
surprising. Bounced a lot of shell. He's holding his
I
own
know.
right now against his Super Comp.
Yep. I don't. He's angling that thing pretty good. Every time I play it, I know I get pinned about everywhere. All right, Type 5 may go down here from the bat chat. There it is. It's one more tank out of the game, and now it's just cleanup duty for TLOEG. For a brand new team first tourney, I think TLOEG is doing an amazing job. They have come a
Yes.
long way for being around for just a few weeks, not even 2 months, I don't think. They've actually been working hard and practicing. So I love to see these new teams coming in and showing that with enough hard work, practice, and training of all kinds, you can really turn the tides.
Especially even if it's your first tournament or basically competitive play or some kind. If it's a bunch of good friends that been playing together for a while, they know each other, they already have a game plan. So I'm not surprised that they're doing some good work. Look at
TA
that
putting in a
E3 again.
3400. There it is. That is the game changer on that side, for sure.
3600 last game, 34 this game.
And the bat chat flanking around to kill the Type 5 so they could push around and kill the rest was another great move. Pug came out with 4,000, a very big game changer as well. Overall, GG's on both sides.
Yep, two very good game. And again, honestly, surprising with an E3. And it looks like AV tried to counter it. When Dragoon pushed on the top of the ridge, he got him spotted, but once again, it's an E3.
Whenever they committed,
like, it's a
they
beast
didn't leave
frontally,
anybody on the
so
hill. I would have liked
They
to
did
see
some
one of the
good
Super
bend, though.
Conquerors stand on the hills and at least being able to spot Frog, because I know Frog was a surprise to most of them whenever they peeked around to try to kill TA and Frog was sitting there in an E4. That spooked him pretty good. Do we
and
know
when
what
you
the
think
next
about
match
it,
gonna be?
it's kind of scary to see an E3 and an E4 all
Oh,
of a
yeah.
sudden pushing around the corner.
Two
It's like,
tanks capable of hitting
okay,
an alpha
that's
of
gonna
like
hurt.
850. It is a mean duo. E4 is able to get
But
those
AV
shots
penned
out,
some
and
good
the
shot,
E3 can
though.
take it.
When you look at the E3, he only blocked 800 damage, and he took 1900. So they've been able to pin it, but still, that alpha damage made the difference. Especially when you have an E4 behind it. That was some
Yes.
good work. Good game to both
And just
teams.
having those there, it doesn't even matter if they, bounce a lot. Just them being able to turn their heads away from the other tanks to get those back shots is crucial whenever it comes to getting those tanks
Yes.
pinned and resetting the cap.
Comrade, I have no idea what I talk about, so sure. I can fill the space with
Alright.
something. You know?
I
Yeah,
can
come on,
feel the
Right.
pressure.
Trigger, you're doing great though.
Building up.
I'm
a
trying. I'm
team.
trying. Jesus, I'm trying.
I'll just read the tanks out when the match starts.
Oh my god.
Hey, that's
Easy
something.
work.
I know. Don't
Yeah, I know.
let me
I'm
down. It's
surprised none of you did
50-50.
that. I was like, come on, guys. And like when you start the commentators, it's like, you're not going to introduce us? Okay, fine.
That's when you. That's
No.
when you have to step up and just okay. I'm gonna count down the tanks, and you know. Come on.
I hate interrupting people, you know?
Just talk about light
So
tanks.
I'm like,
the whole
I'll
time.
speak last.
Let
You know, I
Tank
was
can do
waiting
this.
for one of you to
These
come and
things
say like,
can't.
oh, Grim, what do you think of this
Yeah.
match? I was like, don't want to sound like a broken record, but lack of light tanks, you know?
Where's the light tank?
Is-
No,
Well,
but
you know,
thing
they could
is,
have been spotted with a light tank. They could have pushed with a light tank, you know. Get all them
Just light
spots out
tank
there.
in Muravanka, I will never put a light tank if I can put a bad shot on that map.
That is, oh,
My
Grim's
feelings.
dream just got crushed, yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean,
we all know that
sure.
bad shot is the best light tank anyway, right?
That chat is a giant light tank that has a
Ooh.
massive, but I do prefer it over the 13105 by a massive margin.
Oh, nay. No. I'm going to close.
Why would you play a 13105 when you can
No,
delete a
no,
tank
no.
with a bad shot?
Exactly.
13105 is my favorite tank.
That
I'm
chat
gonna
is just a
leave.
greater 13105.
Hey, it's not because I'm a lover of the bad shot. I don't even play mine because I personally don't like it. But
I hate the bad shot.
a
so
bad
weird.
shot, it's basically a murderer. Like it's
It's
so
better
effective
at-
at close range.
It's better at killing than a
Oh,
13105 for sure. Now, the scouting capabilities on a 13105 are slightly better. I'm gonna say that, but whenever it comes to the long run, you do want something that can scout and deal the damage, and the Bat Chat is a good medium for that.
Yep.
But now T100 LT and the Panzerwagen are very good alternatives because the Panzerwagen is super fast and has that 420 view range. You could get somewhere and spot and get out, and you'll know what's there. And a T100 LT's camo is very good. Also accuracy on the move.
Especially
So-
on that map, at T100.
Yes.
South spawn, even north spawn, if you manage to send your T100 in F6 on that big bush in the middle, that can be literally game changing.
It would never be spotted there, especially if you throw a camo net on the thing, had the camo perks, it would be almost unspottable. It would take some close calls to get that thing spotted. So I would say you wouldn't even have to worry about the magical forest if you put one of those back behind there. You could just leave that be, and then if say they do come up, you could counter it. But with that thing there, there's no reason to have a Bat Chat push all the way down. You can just kind of wait for them to come to you.
Oh, and by the way, about what you said, when you have a bat chat, there's no point for AMX 1315. Well, you know, the benefits of a bat chat is it has more rounds to fire, but a 1315 is smaller, it's faster, and it does about 1,200 in a clip. And so, if you play the 1315 just as a scout, and then the end game when you have tanks at a low health, you can just send it in to finish off tanks. You know, it's a bit devastating. From personal experience, is what I like to do. So.
I just think having that extra 2 shells in there actually does mean a lot because, I mean, if you bounce a shell, let's say it's a 3-hit tank, you bounce 1 shell and you're done. You can bounce 2 in the 2 or 3 in the Bat Chat before you would have to really work. I mean, you've got a little more leniency in there whenever it's coming to a push.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I believe that your a 13105 could do some damage, especially in the right situation. But a Bat Chat for pushing or anything else would just come up on top, as far as an autoloader.
In terms
yeah, I
of
do
flexibility, the bad chat is like it's way ahead of the 13105. And if you go to the extreme reckless play, some things that I already seen and done myself is if you manage to pen your 5 shells in a bad chat, you can basically ram full speed to secure the kill. Because after 5 shells, the tank, it's really low amount of hit points. It's not something that I encourage people to do, but to secure a really important kill, you can just ram to finish the target with your bad shot, and then you leave.
And that
This
is like
something
a
that 3105
last
Yeah,
resort
cannot
I
do.
do agree with you guys, and it's you know it's personally what you want in that game. If you want a scout, you know, the bat chat's okay, but the 1305 would be better. You know, it's faster, as I said. It's got more view range, but the bat chat on the other hand also has more health and more ammo. So it kind of depends on what you want to favor. So yeah, there's an argument for both, I think.
I don't really like scouts, so I'm gonna say if I would use a scout on a game, I would always prefer using a T100 LT because of the camo
Yeah.
rating,
T100
the
LT is
speed,
good.
the low profile, the fact that you can RBRT like a boss, everything all the time. And the 13105 gun, let's agree on that. The 13105 gun, it's really not good. Like it's
You gotta make
Yeah,
it
it's
work.
essentially
like
just
the
a
bad
bat
shot.
chat
The
with
bad
flash
shotgun
African.
is not that good, right? But once again, you have two similar gun handling that are not really good, and on the bad shot you have 2 extra shell. So once again, I would pick the bad shot. And if I have to use a scout,
mean-
T100, and if no T100, it would be the Panzer wagon.
Yes, I do agree. And for me, the AMX 1315 would be the third choice for a scout if you didn't have the others, you know. And if you have a 13105 that's got like a good crew, vertical stabilizers and the I forget what it's called in English, but the one that makes you aim quicker. You know the equipment I'm talking about.
The lane drive.
Yeah, sure. If you have all of that, you know, it can be really devastating. And from me testing it out with trial and error, you can at close quarters, like say you're circling something, you know, you can auto aim it, like put your clip in while you're running away, and if you've got the equipment and the crew, you know, you'll pull it off well. And another thing in favor of the 1315 is the reload. You know, obviously it's a short reload because there's less shells, but you know, what's the batch shot reload now? Like 40 seconds? You know, in the matter of a minute, a 13105 can put like 6 shells, while a batch shot can only put, what is it, 6 or 5? The batch shot, so it's about equal. Yeah, so, you know, it depends on what you want.
Personal preference, I'd say, between the two.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I tried the batch shot.
If you want to
and
use a scout,
it just wasn't for me.
the only thing you don't want to pick is the WLZ 1321, the tier 10
definitely
Chinese
not.
one,
That's just a meme
because
tank. It's the
I-
bulldozer.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know. I don't know why they nerfed it. That tank needed a buff, and now
Yeah.
they nerfed it. I
did.
personally sold mine because it's literally painful to play now. It's not fun anymore.
I know. The T-54 lightweight does the same job better than the WZ.
I just
Exactly, it does.
And
play
it's
my
actually
WZ just
faster.
to ram into other light tanks. When the
Yeah.
matchmaking's
Yeah.
I would honestly
Yeah, but
prefer a
the
T-54
thing is,
lightweight over
most
AWZ.
of the other light tanks are faster than you, so you have to actually anticipate and get a little bit
Yeah.
of luck to ram the other light tank
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they're
For the
outplaying you.
longest time, as well, I don't mean to interrupt, apologies,
fine.
but for the longest time, the WZ was the only light tank at tier 10 I had until I started on the Russian line. And it used to be my favorite because it was good, but now it does the same amount of damage as Sheridan does, but with a 10-second reload, so there's no point in playing it.
So what do you guys
I'll
Let's
think
go
read
on
tank
steps
lists
now.
if,
about
you guys
AV
want.
picking a Jagdpanzer E100? I saw that earlier. You guys were talking
Yeah.
about
Extremely interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go down the tank lists
Okay.
if you guys think that's okay. Okay.
Yep,
So on the
fine.
side of AP, we have a Jagdpanzer E100, an Object 140, 2 IS-7s, an E100, 2 Super Conquerors, and a WZ 111-5A. On the side of TLOEG, we have 2 E4s, a Patron, 2 IS-7s, 2 Super Conquerors, and a 5A.
AV going down on the inside of the track right now, really trying to not get spotted.
Both teams seem to be making a push for the base, which, you know, it's smart.
interesting,
because you don't want to
so-
get outcut.
I mean, AV looks like they're gonna try to use that Jagdpanzer somewhere around B7, or even maybe sending it down on the low ground towards the cap. That would be a risky play, but that could be also game changing, depending on how they're gonna use it. We have
I'm
T.
disappointed to
Hagen
see.
in
Oh,
the
go
middle
ahead.
trying to spot in the 140.
I mean, neither team has a backshot or a light tank, so you know they could have got early shots in if someone had spotted the middle, but you know, it is what it is.
Both team are actually going for basically not risky, but you know, all cat push, not sending anything down the 1-2 line to get any spots, preventing a flank play.
No,
But I'm sure
personally,
go ahead.
I don't like cap pushes as much, just because once you have the high ground shooting down on people, that's where you get the advantage. And I think it could pay off, but I believe in the long run the TLOEG will come out on top with this one.
Looks like AV's pushing down. Yellow Boy being extremely aggressive by pushing Soul at first. He took a shot for absolutely nothing. That was, in my opinion, a little bit reckless.
TLOEG looks like they're expecting a flank, but they need to have those E4s down there or they will get overmatched.
Very risky by AV to take the low ground right now. But they have gun depression with that super conk. He's doing a good job. TL super conk should definitely enter the battle right now.
TLOEG's E4s are also very spread out, and if they could get in the fight, that could be the game changer, but so far AV is taking advantage of them not having those there, and they're punishing TLOEG for it.
Oh, Patch is going down here. Is it me or he took a big hit from the Yiguru? Or it was just the 5A?
Yes.
He was exposing himself and he went down.
Those
Still
E4s
got
are going to have to get in the
in the
battle
middle.
right now.
Pushing 1 to 140 in the middle. He just got spotted. Got a good
I
shot
think
into
those
the baton.
E4s should have came in a little sooner. If the E4s were coming a little bit sooner, I think they could have made the Super Conqueror and IS-7 pay at the bottom for pushing and killing Mark.
Yep, I
They were
agree.
just a little too slow on that.
Also, the Yiguru being way too far out of the battle, not using that big alpha and the armor. He's pushing in slowly now, but
They're trying to hold the tanks back from pushing Evo, but I believe he'll get some back shots from Day of Death here, and that'll be the end of him. Bones isn't in a bad position, but with that lack of hit points, probably won't be able to take one HE shell and he's down, so he's got to be pretty careful.
Dragon push to take a good shot on the Legion. Allowing his teammates to take him down, and now it's basically that pattern in the E4 should have definitely joined the fight down
Yes.
the middle.
Those E4s should have automatically pushed down into the heavy arena down there.
Yep.
Because without that DPM and that alpha coming out, they were able to single out the tanks and really make the bottom effective for them.
E4 might have decent. Oh,
Having
no,
only
okay.
one
He's
medium.
not even trying to shoot the 140.
No. Having only one medium, they should have only left that pattern back there and played more aggressive with those E4s for sure.
That's unfortunate because using that pattern in the E4 down there would have certainly made a difference. Especially with that pattern, DPM and the flexibility. That turret now, using full gun depression on the ridge line. Well, good game.
AV brought it back. Whose map choice was this? Was it AV's?
I think this TLOEG's.
Oh well. Looks like AV didn't want to go down without a fight at least. So
Nice damage done
This
here.
game really just came down to
Gunslinger and
the
AV
E4s.
and Dragoon, 43 and 39, 100. And unfortunately, in TLOEG, one of the E4 is 0 damage.
And
If you're
one
going to
shot
bring
coming
a,
out of
a
the other
tank,
one.
yeah, if you're going to bring a tank destroyer, you need to do damage in comp matches. You know, otherwise it's just a waste. So.
Thing is, they basically try to prevent a flank from the middle, and that was not a bad thing to do. But only the Patton could have done that alone. And having enough speed to relocate to do a strong push in the middle as soon as the 140 got spotted before the 140 can reach the battle. Having the E4 there, at my opinion, was a mistake. Because he could have used his alpha and his armor down in the middle to change the pace of the combat.
Yes. And even if the patent was there and they didn't want to do a push into the cab, those Super Conquerors were in a position where they could go up on the hill and get shots on the 140 if they did want to push, because they were a little bit further back than the other heavies.
Exactly.
So they could have played that a little bit differently and paid it off with those E4s, but it wasn't a bad move.
That
No, it wasn't a bad move with the flank protection.
Considering that the Yiguru was not in the fight for most of the battle, sending that E4 in the middle would have certainly made a difference. But that's a good comeback by AV. That was a good match. So points now 2-1 TLOEG. Let's see game 4. For some reason I'm expecting a similar tanks lineup. I would be surprised to see the Jagdpanzer E100 again, though. Since
I would like to see TLOEG coming out with more IS. I would like to see them drop that E5 and come in with another IS7, but that's. I mean, E5 is very versatile, but pulling a 5A in or something else, I feel like that would work better for the brawling, which is going to happen. It's an imminent brawl. They did bring the Yag again, and if they get it up there this time, maybe it can put in a lot more damage.
I don't think I need. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, go on, go on.
I mean, I don't think I need to say what I'd like to see. But, you know, let's see what
Light
they
tag.
I don't know.
I agree.
Hey,
I agree. If I would spawn on the south spawn, I would definitely pick a T100 and send in a F6 on that bush in the middle.
I had a stream
I'll have a
match
party
yesterday where
rings
they
of
put a
lifetime.
batch hat there and it did some pretty nice spotting.
That's also a good pick. It's just like if the team on the north send tanks down the middle, like 2 bats or 2 fast mediums, the bat chat might have some problem escaping. Not because it's slow, but it's still a big target. And the T100 can so easily escape any type of situation with full hit points.
Yeah. I mean,
AV with the Jagdpanzer again.
Go ahead, sorry.
Surprising. And they picked the E100 this time.
I mean, whenever I'm in pub matches, like, whenever I'm shooting at T100 LTs, I can never hit them. When I'm in a T100 LT, everyone can hit me, you know, it's that kind of thing. Gotta play it right. But I agree with what you said, the T100
I think it's
LT
a very good tank on this map, and I've actually seen it. I know you're gonna think I'm crazy. A0 and B0, you can put a T100 LT up there undercover.
I've gone up there myself.
That is a bold move, but that works out sometimes, depending on what they're gonna do.
You know, the most dangerous thing I've seen from using that spot is an STRV 103B.
Ooh,
Up
yeah.
there in a B0, just behind that rock, there's that little bush. Honestly, that was disgusting. He did around, I think, 55, if not 6k damage down to the heavies. That was sitting between E, F, and G9. This is just not something that you expect.
DPM and concealment's crazy on that thing, and putting it in a spot like that where it can hide and deal that DPM out, especially with that gun depression up there, very dangerous.
Yeah, it is. And considering when it was before the 5A, and basically you have an IS-7 that is basically gonna brawl at really close range. So the team that got crippled had 2 Chieftain. You cannot overmatch the armor of the Tier 10 STRV with a 120mm. So he bounced something like 3k damage. He got spotted. He was not even moving because he knew he could bounce a shell. That was a really good play.
And with the heat guard on the SGRV, that prevents it from pretty much getting annihilated by HE. So,
yeah.
If you're going to fire HE at it, don't expect to get a 500, 600 roll with a 120. Expect it to do about 140 and eat into the guard on the front.
So, let us see now. On the side of AV, we have the Jagdpanzer again, Object 140, 2 IS-7s, E100, 2 Super Conquerors and a 5A. On the side of I can never say this contact, you know? TLOEG, we have an E50M, a Batchat, woohoo! An IS-7, no, 2 IS-7, an E5, 2 E100s, and the Super Conqueror. I mean, it's not a light tank, but it's a start, so, yeah.
I recorded that one. Bad chat.
Slowly working down, huh? Yeah. Hey, the next time you may see a T100 LT come out.
I mean, I'm commentating 3 matches today, so I better see a light tank. Otherwise, you know, I'm not going to commentate again.
You're going to be pretty disappointed, huh?
I mean, if throughout it I don't get a light tank, I'm just going to pick one myself, you know? Okay anymore.
Yeah. Just spec somebody and say, I'm coming in, I'm going to show you what this thing can really do, and just do it.
So you don't want to play light tanks, huh? Well, I'll show you.
TL is going with some really good play right now. Sending a Batchat in the E50M down the 1-2 line. Trying to spot and preventing any flanking position. But at the same time, it could be dangerous if AV do an all-in push down the middle towards the flag. And they notice they have the overmatch. But we have T. Hagen in the 140, staying in H7. Let's see how this
The
gets
YAG
developed.
is doing something similar to the E4's last game, where it is actually getting ready to shoot those tanks coming around, and the E100 is also looking that way for right now.
The Jagdpanzer is not in a bad spot. If the 140 is spotting those 2 mediums, he can do some good work as long as he don't miss. But I was surprised to see Stokerman in the E100 staying around that position instead of, you know, super heavy pushing towards the cap and doing some good work using armor and hit points. Once again, I'd say TL, if they notice they have an overmatch heavy versus heavies, they could definitely push. Yellow Boy is down on alpha hit points, if not more already.
Patches needs to drop down to the low ground. He's in a pretty weak spot there with 2 tanks on 1. Mark's trying to help him out.
He just got tracked. Looks like he was literally trying to go in on Drummer.
Heavy's starting to
Tracked
regroup,
again.
sling another tank up. If they do a low push, I think they could work it out and take it for sure, but they are holding off long enough for that E100 to get down there, and that'll be the game changer.
Twitch chat is saying the Jagdpanzer U100 is their light tank.
There you go, Grim. You found one.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would like to have that. A light tank with 1050 alpha. Any day.
Every time you shoot it, just flips the tank upside down. That'd be amazing.
Anyway, I was in a Merc team for like a quick scrim, and someone played a task, and I was like, "See, it's not how you play light tanks."
Now TL having the E50M and the bad shot in the middle, literally not doing anything for now, and it's gonna be fatal for their team because they're basically useless.
Yeah, playing so passive with the downage of tanks on that side, if they would have taken it and evened it whenever they had the chance, they probably would have lasted a lot longer for those mediums to come back. But since they did play passive and allowed them to stack up on them, it's turned out a little bit devastating for their team.
And just basically the only thing they needed is sending the bad shot down the 2 line to get some spots. The
Yes.
E50M could have stayed with the heavies and used that DPM. Yeah, unfortunately, TL's going down right now. They had the upper hand on Maravenka. AV have the upper hand on Steps. It's actually pretty entertaining.
Very close matches. 2-2.
Yep.
I always love it whenever we get to go to Ghost Town. It's just more show to watch.
Ah yes, Ghost Town. Perfect map for light tanks. Yep.
Hey, there's the A1 spot. You can't forget about that.
There is.
Oh,
I wasn't
yeah.
being sarcastic.
Except that's what I use my bat chat in, and you know, it does a pretty good job.
What I like to see on Ghost Town is basically one bad shot and then the rest heavies.
Yeah, I love to see, I've seen 50Bs work out pretty well in a pair of 2 floating around a little bit. That does work in the long run if they know how to do it right. But the defensive position on the, I believe it's the left side of Ghost Town, is the, if you can play defensive on that side and get a good lockdown, it's pretty hard to break into that.
I agree, 250Bs, if they can just fly together and use their mobility, it's not bad at all. But on Ghost Town, I would rather pick 2 T57s, considering the DPM and the armor is, honestly, it's really forgiving and troll for the enemy. If you can manage to put 2 T57s behind 2 super heavies, it can be really dangerous.
Wow.
We got some
Dragon
nice
coming out good
damage
again.
on AV side
Dragon,
right now.
ooh. Drummer's coming out with 5,000. That's the first 5,000
Yeah,
we've seen
really
tonight.
good.
Nice. Very well
And that's
played.
very good accuracy. 12 shots fired, 12 direct hits, and 11 pins. That is exactly what you want to see on your team.
Looks like the Russia guy was on his side this time. And it was super close range though. Definitely a good game. So we're on a 2-2 right now. It's gonna be Ghost Town.
A rare treat to see Ghost Town.
Because no one
Depends who you
wants
ask.
to see it.
Well, for GTO.
Either you love it or you hate it, no?
I rather.
Well, thing
enjoy
is, I heard many times people ask why Ghost Town as a tiebreaker map. It's a balanced map. It's basically the same exact thing from both sides.
It's like a mirror.
So it's basically, it's balanced. You have it's 50-50 the chance to win because it's basically the same thing. So that's why it's a good tiebreaker map. But it's not everyone that is, you know, comfortable playing it. But it's very balanced. Because obviously
More
if you use
balanced
another
gamers.
map as a tiebreaker map, and then you lose, and then you have some players complaining, oh, they had the best spawn, you cannot say that on Ghost Town. It's the same thing.
You do tend to see teams play more aggressive on the right side, just because it's not as open, but it is still a pretty, I mean, it's an even game almost, like you said. You can't really complain.
Yeah, it's you cannot complain on one of the 2 spawn because it's like, it's basically 50-50, exactly the same.
There's plenty of spots for you to get that crossfire in, kind of a ring of tank. If they get in there, you can defend it on all sides. That's one thing that's great about
Yep,
Ghost Town,
exactly.
is there's plenty of spots for you to get shots on other tanks from where you're at as well.
Oh, and E3
It's
already.
basically all
Straight up.
about tank positioning. Oh, and E3 again by TL. 2 T57. I
Cool.
would like to see that.
My
Very
favorite heavy.
interesting.
And I can say
You
that
play
because I've never
heavy?
played a heavy tank. No, no.
Oh, okay,
yeah, I've
okay.
never played a heavy tank though. But if I was to get one, that would be the one. No.
I think you'd
I
like a 50
remember
And I-
it's
when
just
you
a
joined
light tank with a
Nightmare.
bigger gun.
You
When I
asked in the
joined Nightmare.
Discord, what first heavy should I get?
And like I was expecting like IS-7, TV7 heavier, that sort of thing, and people say AMX 50B, and I was like,
If
not
you
what I
want to
wanted
be
to hear.
part of comp, regularly doing comp, the IS-7 is like no doubt the first heavy you should get, because it's basically, you know, it's reliable. The armor is just really good.
My first
At
heavy was
close range,
Seems,
you don't have to care about the accuracy. That's why, at my opinion, Batchat and IS-7 is the two first comp tank you should get, because it's reliable. It's always gonna get used.
uh-huh.
E3
And then-
from AV this
I think
time.
an IS-7 more. An IS-7's a strong tank, but I think going for it would be a mistake with all these new Russian tanks coming out soon, so...
I think the IS-7 will still put up a pretty good game with the new tanks
Mhm.
as well.
It
I'm
is
not
the
saying it will
IS-7.
be
business.
Useless.
The armor is
Like the
forgiving.
113 was more
That's why it's so
useless,
good.
Yes. I am curious to see if the new teams are going to pick up on the Object 268 version 4, having that insane armor
Oh, you
and
know they're going to.
amazing speed as well. Yeah, that is what I would love to see that come out.
I would not even be surprised, considering the Supercon. Obviously, it's an overpowered tank, in my opinion. It basically changed the meta of comp. So I would not be surprised if a few of the Russian, especially in the 268 version 4, is again gonna change and modify the meta of the comp again. Obviously, the clans are gonna try it, and it's not a bad thing, right?
No.
If it work, it work. Maybe it's gonna be the new E3.
Oh, it's an E3 that goes 50 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes with a big gun, the alpha really count. It's 260 version 4, I think it's 650.
Yeah, it does suffer.
E3 is still 850. If you high roll with the E50, you can basically roll over 1,000. Just like I think it's on the first game. You called it, Rez. I think it was what, 933
933
or close
on
to
the
950.
100.
Yeah, that's a big roll. Like, it's game changing.
And that is
at
that
this
is
point.
on a bat chat. That's over half your health, and that could change it. Or
Yeah.
even in the E100, that's over a third, and it could really, I mean, it could put you down.
Two i7, a mouse. I'm not surprised to see a mouse on Ghost Town though.
I'm liking TLOEG setup with the kind of a more mobile setup than the mouse and E100 both combined. I'm liking to see those 57s too. Working together, those things can be very devastating.
Yep. And if we take a look on the side of a TLOEG, they definitely have the burst damage advantage. If AV get caught by those two T57s and get clipped, it's once again that could be game changing. We're
In
talking
the
about
event of a
what,
push, I feel like
3,200
TLOEG could
damage
win it.
in 6 seconds. Two Super Conks versus one, an E100, an E100, two i7s, both sides, a mouse.
I feel like the
What do you guys
Super
think?
Conquerors would be
Go
great.
ahead,
but...
sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. You go ahead.
I was just gonna quickly ask, what do you guys think about the a mercenary tier 10 heavy tank they're gonna bring out? Do you think that's gonna be a comp tank?
Oh, that is going to be amazing.
Which one?
A
And
50
also
Chieftain
painful
and
to get.
Skoda mixed together.
The machine.
Beautiful,
Oh, the machine. Yeah.
beautiful tank.
I think
I
it's
don't.
gonna be good, considering it's basically the TVP T50-51 gun before the nerf. So it still
And
had
having
the,
the,
we could say, the short reload, but at the same time, it's gonna be painful to get. If you consider all the amount of XP you have to grind to just get the tier 9 or the task at tier 10, just imagine how much experience you will have to just to grind, and how many hours you're gonna have to put in that game to get to that machine.
I'm still on the
Way
Tusk
too many.
contract, so you know, the last thing on the Tusk is almost 1 million XP on only 2 tanks. You can get it on 2, so it's
Oh man.
you can only play the AMX 3105 or the Sheridan and get.
Well, hey, it's right up your
980,000.
alley.
Business, right? Wargaming
It's right up
wants
your
you to
alley.
spend money. So you get up to the stage 9 or stage 10, you can buy gold, you're like, okay, why not?
That's why people have Tusk already, because they bought up as far as they could and stuff. But
That's why I'm not doing any contracts. I'm spending way too much money in
Looks
that
like
game
Diesel
already.
Boy started off driving in the wrong direction there for a second.
And then they brought out loot things, you know. And we're not going to discuss it here. But anyway.
So we
what's
have
the map?
TL pushing directly in town right now, just like AV. I'm really curious to see where those E3 are gonna be. I would definitely keep my E4 with my E3. The game-changing thing here from TL is those 2 T57s. If they can manage to cut a tank out in the open, TL with an E4 watching the flank right now.
This would have been perfect if you had a bat chat up in A3.
Or a
putting
light
info
tank.
down.
Yeah, can you
I didn't want
realize?
to go there.
Or
You know?
light tank, yeah.
I didn't want to
If
say
you-
anything.
Come on, Grim, you're slacking on
If-
slacking expert.
If a light tank
No,
would
no,
have
no,
went
I
down the
just-
J line and just boop by that E4.
I didn't want to say anything because if I said light tank, I would have been shut down. Like, nope, need a bat chat. Whatever. Just...
So you said bad chat, you got shut down for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's no winning.
You never know. There's no one out.
AV with a lot of tanks right now in the middle. Looks like they realized it was just too many tanks for that little spot, sending an E1 over and a Super Kong on the right side. TL being very, very defensive right now. I like the position of Yellow Boy in the IS-7 right now. Getting some terrain on the left, trying to get some spots. Looks like TL are basically waiting to see what's AV are gonna do. This is not a bad play, but it's a bit risk. Like, they can literally get caught by doing that.
Yep. We kind of have a what you call it name? It's like a stalemate, like something like that.
Yep.
Get it a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
ghost towns.
Mark
We have the Angry Lime that pushed, got snapped by Evo IS-7, but allowing to Yellow Boy to just push and then trying to side scrape. But TL have a
Ooh,
really
Yellow
good
Boy's
reaction
going
by
up.
sending 2 heavies back there.
Ooh.
Yellow Boy getting
Yellow boy
crippled
may
right
go
now.
down.
Yep.
There
Yep.
it is. That
One
could be the
thing
game
you can't
changer.
really do in an IS-7 is side scraping too far. You expose your upper plate cheeks, easy pen, and you get caught.
Especially to heat rounds and E3 and E4 premium rounds, which have 395. Well, I think it's 395 pin, and that's not going to bounce. Something like that.
And the thing is, he basically had no pressure. What he could have done is reverse side scraping. That would have been better than just side scraping from the front.
Two E100s bouncing off each other.
Mm-hmm. Saw that.
If the 57s can focus fire out that E100, it may stop that push from happening. It looks like they're going to.
Yep, those T-57 definitely have to push together at the same time and clip that E-100.
Jeff would preferably need to take that shot since Pug is almost a pretty substantial way down from him, so we'll see what happens.
Just feel like shouting at screen, take the shot!
They have left Patches
Take it.
alone, though.
I'm wondering why Frog is pushing down that side in this E4. He would have getting some
E4
really
just
nice
found
shots
to show
going
off the
down the
57.
B line.
We've got to push
E57's
E100
pushing on the
fire.
E100. They're bouncing.
With the focus
One
fire, they
pen,
can
two
take him
pen,
down.
three pen.
Look at that damage coming in. Oh, can they take him down? Come on, Jeff.
Nope.
Oh,
And a
it was
bounce.
just no good. But he is already almost reloaded and can finish him off.
Pug needs to pull. He needs to pull back. If the E100 pen him, he's done.
Yes.
Jeff
And
needs
now
to
they
take
have
the
an
shot,
IS-7
just
is back.
go straight in.
Yep,
Yeah.
drummer's
Mark needs
pushing
to be
to
a little
help.
more aggressive on the other side. They have the overmatch on that side, so they need to really use that E3.
Jeff needs to push. He needs to use his hit points to protect Pug right now. He needs to push first.
And they can, between them, I believe, take down all three of those tanks if they don't miss a single shot.
Yes, they can.
Pug
Oh,
But it
the
seems
E100
like
to
Jeff is
spin
getting
Jeff
punished
with
for
a
it.
big
He did allow
shell.
Pug to get out.
But he's risking all of his hit points for it.
That's right. He needs to pull out of there. He doesn't need to sit around while Pug's already back behind.
But saving Pug though was a really good thing.
And there it is.
Jeff's going down.
I mean, TOL never said his contact, huh?
You can say
TLOEG to
TL.
get the first kill, but it's the only kill they got, you know?
Yeah, I know. What happened was they didn't focus on one tank. As you can see, like, the damage on the other team is, they're all pretty much one or two shots. I mean, they didn't focus the guns out quick enough, and it just
exactly.
made them suffer.
Yep. Unfortunately, if TLE4 would have stayed down the B line and push on their E4,
Both
the
teams did well.
T50, the only thing that the T57 had to do is stay defensive, and the
Yes.
E4 would have helped the other flank to basically just wreck everything on that flank.
And leaving
Yeah.
Patches
Because
alone.
when you look at
and
the
then
start of the
let-
match,
letting him
TL
push
had
was
the
not.
upper hand,
Oops.
and then all of a sudden, all turned around because their E4 flanked on the other side. He get caught in the middle, got ammo rack damage by the IS-7, and it changed everything.
Yes.
Both teams did substantial damage. It's just about the focus, like you said, and the E4 could have won that for T. You know,
Yep.
I'm not going to say the contact. No, it's not happening.
Just say TL.
Well, it's just
TL,
unfortunate because Frog E4 basically could have done some really good job staying on this
Yes.
flank. He tried to relocate towards the T57. He got caught in the middle. He did 0 damage for that. He literally got caught. Once again, really good team, really good match.
Really good games, yeah.
Yeah.
It's rare occurrence you get to see Ghost Town in the in a stream, so
This is why it's
Yeah,
really
that's even,
entertaining.
Even
Both
rarer
teams
where
were
you get
really
like,
balanced.
Oh, go ahead, sorry. You know, I bet it's even rarer to see one team take 2 wins and the other team take the 2 as well, you know? And not just
and they were,
randomized.
I mean, TLOEG took those games by a pretty substantial amount on Malinovka or Muravanka, sorry, I'm tired. And whenever it got swapped, there was just such a, I don't know, a click in AV's mind, and they just swiped them for the final 3.
And that's probably going to push both teams to, you know, work on those maps. TL took Muravanka and they nailed it. AV are probably going to put some serious practice on it. And then we had steps.
Oh yeah.
And then it's probably TL that now are gonna put some serious work on it to improve their, their gameplay, their stress on it. No, overall, really good matches. And going up to Ghost Towns, it's always cool, very entertaining. Two very balanced team, good matches.
And pretty proud to see TLOEG just being this new. I'm very impressed with TLOEG's performance.
Yep, I agree. Very good. It's like it's some type of stereotype, right? We heard, okay, it's basically a new team joining comp. They never did that before. We don't expect much, right, out of it. But honestly, very impressive. Really nice play. That E3 on Muravenka, A1, very risky, but it worked. That was amazing.
Yes. And they saw that lack of field of view there, and they really used that to their advantage both times.
Yep. But at the same time, AV tried to react to that, right? On the second game,
Yeah,
Dragoon in the 5A, he pushed on that
push.
ridge. The E3 got spotted, but that was not enough to counter that E3. At least they tried.
Yeah, and by the
Because
time
on the
they
first
actually
game,
went into the
no
cap,
one spotted him.
by the time they actually went into the cap, Frog was undetected and he was right with the E3. So whenever they poked around, they didn't expect on that corner, and
Yep.
that stopped him from pushing TA, which was a dramatic change of game right there. But overall, yeah, great games from both sides.
Yep. I think both teams did a good job and also have a lot of things to work on. So I'm sure the next time we see those two teams, even if it's not against each other, we're going to see some improvements. That's going to be better. So looking forward to that.
Yes.
Next one.
And hopefully they'll watch the stream and see the mistakes they made and fix those.
Yep. Next match is going to be EB versus VGA. There's going to be a 20-minute gap for the viewers. I have to wait for the delay to end, and then it'll take another 10 minutes for you guys to see it again. We are about half an hour behind schedule, so I think we'll have to forfeit the after-match interviews with the two teams today, so we can try and stay on schedule.
All right. I'm going to have to bounce out of here. I got some college work to get done.
Okay. Get that education.
But
no response.
With any interview, my question would be, why no light tanks? Huh? That's my interview.
Oh my god.
Really? Yes.
I think you should bring
if
them in
anyone
for
from
one
these
question.
teams are
Is it
watching,
me?
why no light?
Is it me or Grim probably just have one tattoo on her body and it's probably just saying, I'm a light tank player.
AMX13105.
I heart light tanks.
No,
let me word
T100
it this way.
LT. Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
T100 LT. That what it is, right on her forehead. No, maybe not.
I just have
Got like those eyelid
the diamond-shaped
tattoos where you
scalp
can't
thing.
see them if you blink.
Oh my god. And even if you blink, you realize that okay, I'm in front of a mirror, but I cannot see it because my eyes are closed.
I don't know if Halloween's celebrated in Russia, but if it is, you should have a light tank emblem hanging above your head as your costume.
Yes.
That would be great.
I was planning to go as a Witcher this year, but you know, my plans have changed now.
Yeah. Dress up as a dang tanker and say, if you don't use light tanks, you're playing the game wrong. Get it right.
You can always build yourself some kind of soapbox race car, for the little kids, like a T100, and just race around the streets and that. I hope you have a good cardio though. If you want to go just as fast.
Turner?
Let me just word it this way for you guys, right? In my garage right now, I have 27 tanks. 26 of them are light tanks. So.
Well, that's enough.
I just noticed how many games you play in your T100, and this is all
Yeah, it's over
I need
2,000
to
now.
know. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
wow.
You know, my most played tank is not even 450.
Alright guys, I gotta turn these guys down. I gotta end this stream so I can get ready for the next one. Like I said earlier, it's going to be EB versus VGA, and there will be about a 20-minute gap between when it goes offline and when you'll see it again. So we'll see you then. Thanks.